Hi everybody, my name is Jeff Strauss, and this video is on employee engagement, how to leverage engagement to maximize performance. Now this video, like a couple of my other ones, is a little bit shorter in length because it was adapted from a written Substack article that I wrote. I'm transferring all of my written articles to videos because I find them to be a little bit more engaging and personable. So this one was an adaptation and therefore is a little bit shorter in length for a video because it was a shorter form written essay. So I hope you enjoy this shorter presentation on employee engagement. So what is engagement? Now, it's important to understand that an employee's workplace behaviors and actions rarely occur in a vacuum. They are routinely shaped by, and they routinely shape, an array of organizational factors. Strong employee engagement is crucial to high-performing individuals and teams, especially if desirable behavior is recognized and rewarded and cascades throughout an organization. A high level of employee engagement translates directly into outcomes that have a high positive impact for the company. So boosting engagement should be a priority for leaders and managers. Higher employee engagement is also linked with higher levels of customer engagement. So it behooves a company to create highly engaged employees to impact the bottom line. So what characterizes employee engagement? Well, highly engaged employees are enthusiastic, fervent, and energetic. They have a go-get-'em attitude, they're excited to come in and work, they want to get the job done, and they are intrinsically or extrinsically motivated. In other words, they're motivated from something within them that wants to get the job done, or they're energized about the work themselves, the work itself. But either way, they're enthusiastic, fervent, and energetic. One way their positivity manifests is through a dedicated focus on accomplishing work-related objectives at the personal, team, and organizational levels. So they really want to work. And a core characteristic of employee engagement is a proactive attitude toward work responsibilities, many times going above and beyond the requirements of the role. This is a phenomenon called organizational citizenship behavior, or OCB. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. So engaged employees tend to identify closely with their company. They're aligned with company values and identify with the mission and vision. They feel secure and safe. And they have opportunities to develop their skills and abilities, which contributes to developing a sense of pride in working at the company, creating a psychological bond that combines an employee's passions with obligations to themselves, their team, and the company. So let's talk about some ways that we can actually boost employee engagement if we're identifying that some of these characteristics are missing or they can be improved. A culture wherein respect is valued results in better engaged employees. A manager's attitude of respect towards an employee, like making the employee feel seen and heard by listening to ideas and suggestions, treating them fairly, communicating with them effectively, and other concepts like that, are tremendously important, as a higher commitment to supervisor was found to be a predictor of engagement. Now, employee engagement tends to be higher when employees are provided equal opportunities to advancement and growth. And fair and equal due process also impact engagement levels. One study suggested that employees with a greater sense of procedural justice, procedural justice is fairness in the processes that resolve disputes and allocate resources, have greater probability of reciprocating it with higher levels of organizational engagement. Additionally, if employees witnessed informational justice, so informational justice is focusing on explanations provided that convey information about why procedures were used in certain ways or why outcomes were distributed in certain fashions. In other words, rationale. If employees witnessed informational justice as part of performance conversations, they exhibited a sense of better well-being and greater engagement. And this is a crucial concept that we'll talk about later not in this video, but in another video, which is how to have effective performance conversations. Too frequently, performance conversations leave out crucial details that can create higher levels of engagement, even if the performance conversation doesn't go in favor of the employee. Now, greater amounts of informational justice lead to more behavioral and cognitive engagement, resulting in greater commitment, motivation, pride, and excitement for work. It's important to, when we consider this particular aspect of informational justice and performance management, that an unbiased and transparent performance appraisal framework, including clear communication between manager and employee about expectations, tends to result in higher engagement. So it's really important that a transparent and unbiased performance management framework be instituted or created at the company. And that's, like I said, we'll talk about that in a different video. Now, perhaps unsurprisingly, a study on the perceptions of politics on employee outcomes show that the perception of politics in a company has a negative impact on employee engagement. A perception of politics can result in strong negative emotions that potentially hinder growth and organizational commitment, leading to poor outcomes and higher attrition. So it's important for leaders to be aware of the perception that politicking can create in the workplace. Now, it's not always bad. Politicking isn't necessarily always bad, but it has a poor perception for people. So it's important to be aware of that perception and set the appropriate perception or expectations amongst people if politicking is going to be visible in some way. Now, finally, a highly engaged workplace is one that is challenging and trusting, where employees are encouraged to disagree with prevailing orthodoxies and innovate to spur growth. This practice alone can help develop a very strong sense of psychological safety. Now, organizations with highly engaged employees provide ample opportunities to learn skills, develop abilities, acquire knowledge, and reach personal and professional goals and potentials. Employees tend to invest in companies that invest in them, and effective talent management strategies that include career planning, support, and incentives can result in high engagement and reduced attrition. But this starts with leadership. A company needn't have a full-fledged career development strategy for leaders to engage in dialogue with their direct reports and show interest and commitment in their personal and professional goals. In my series on managing teams, there's a section where I discuss the executive support function of team management. And one of the key factors in the executive support structure are signature moments, where executive leadership has skip levels or otherwise engages with employees to show that there's a real interest there and to create a real personal connection. So speaking of leadership, as I mentioned in my video on feedback, it's important to show appreciation regularly, and employees show more engagement toward the organization when they see themselves getting praised by their manager or have leadership's attention, for example, via a skip level one-on-one. These are not only opportunities to show thanks, but opportunities to develop high-quality relationships. Besides showing appreciation, one-on-ones are a good time to develop a mentoring relationship and articulate a personal, team, or company vision, which are found to be highly influential in fostering employee engagement. Now, detailed videos on feedback and developing high-quality relationships are available on my website, jeffstrauss.net. Now, money is a motivator for many, and a pay structure attached to performance management frameworks that clearly and transparently outline strategies, programs, and systems in place for compensation lead to greater levels of employee engagement. Now, this may seem like obvious, more money. Now, money isn't a motivator, isn't the primary mover for motivation for many people. It is for many people as well, but for a lot of people, it's not the primary mover. However, taking a job based on financial security is a responsible choice. But interestingly, the data indicate that incentives, intangible rewards, and quality of leadership have a stronger correlation with a company's ability to produce engaged employees than base pay and benefits alone. Now, the data is clear that a positive relationship exists between engaged employees and productivity, including organizational citizenship behavior or voluntary commitments by employees that are not part of their normal responsibilities. In other words, going above and beyond. In fact, organizational citizenship behavior also positively impacts employee engagement. So an engaged employee's impact can be amplified by virtue of their own engagement. Conversely, less engaged employees aren't just less productive, they tend to be counterproductive. So the data is very clear that engaged employees go above and beyond in numerous ways. They're energetic about their work, they're enthusiastic about their work, they want to go above and beyond. These benefits cascade throughout an organization, and in fact, they're self-reinforcing behaviors. So the more an employee is engaged, the more above and beyond they want to go, the more recognition they receive for that. We talked about recognition in a previous slide. The more engaged they are, and up and up and up and up. So I want to say thank you for watching this brief video. I know it was much briefer than other videos that I've had, but again, this was adapted from a written article. So much more to come on the topics of employee engagement, on executive influence on employee engagement, organizational citizenship behaviors, so much more we can talk about, which will be coming in future videos. In the meanwhile, you can find me on Instagram and TikTok on Strauss on Leadership. You can find my website at jeffstrauss.net. I also just launched a coaching and training company. It's called Leadership Bootcamp. You can find it at leadershipbootcamp.com. And this is actually a research-based training and development in leadership for teams and organizations. So feel free to take a look at leadershipbootcamp.com. You can find it on LinkedIn as well. I'll have social media for it up soon. But thank you so much for your time here. I hope you found this helpful. And please do check out my other videos on my YouTube channel and my website, jeffstrauss.net. They're all free. They cover a ton of leadership topics in great detail and depth. I really hope you check them out, and I hope they're very helpful for you. So thanks so much.